in the Mini language, or Bilava, good evening in the Mini language. Bilava, good evening in the Mini language. Our subject matter here be 1 month since we started the bicycle repair or learn your bike. Starting to learn your bike that leads into you being able to repair your bike on your own. With your help, a little help from us, but we want people to do the work themselves. I know the last 2 years I have been doing some volunteer work with Eastside Community Network doing bicycle repair. And last year, when I seen people were willing to work on their own bicycles, that's when I got the idea to learn your bike. Is the name of it. So we ran with it last month in June. We did 4 trips out of Channel Park. 4 or 5 trips, I'm not sure. I think it's 5 Thursdays, but it was first 3 or 4 was on a Thursday. I have to check my calendar. And the fifth one was on a Friday. I know now not to do any on Friday anymore because the park be busy on Fridays, but I had an event to go to on Thursday, so I pushed it back to Friday to see how that would work out. Now I know not to do it on a Friday. Thursdays is the best day. Not to be at the shed, the original shed at Channel Park. Had somebody come out the first time, week 1, and did the handlebars with him. We had already gave him a couple of bites, so we familiar with each other. And I didn't get a chance to do the YouTube video with him. I left my tablet at home. That's what I use for YouTube. So I left at home. Didn't get a chance to do that. So with the handlebars. So the other weeks I was out there, had put it on Facebook, Facebook event, as well as next door. So I get anytime I see somebody that say they're interested in participating, I'm gonna be out there, whether they show up or not. Missed a couple opportunities because I had some people that showed an interest on next door, so I also put it on next door. And that's gonna be my 2 hookup and Eventbrite. So those are gonna be the 3 areas that I'm gonna be promoting what I'm doing this month. So I'm looking forward to going on location at different events, community events, and not be doing it at Channel Park. Channel Park is too convenient to me because it's open to the public, and I have somewhere to sit down there with the shades or sheds, 2 sheds in that one location. So you have a choice of 2 sheds. The original shed that was there that was built about the time the park was built, that's one attached to the bathroom or the restrooms. Then the new one they built next to it. That's my ideal location so far, but we do have a third shed we can't go to if necessary, if the turnout is big enough. Don't look for a real big turnout, about 10 people is what I want to mass out with. I think after 10 people you start losing their, you don't have their full attention. They keep the head count down, it's a good thing. So the routine is going to be pretty simple. I've been planned it out already, so the plan is going to be real simple. I'm going to take a smaller bike. It'll be, I think, a 20-inch, or I got one a little less than a 20-inch, a kid's bike. I'm going to break it down to one with the brake with the free wheel. So not the one with any gears on it or any cables on it. No cables and no derailleurs. And so it'll be broken down, just the handlebars can be taken off. The headset going to be taken off. That's what holds the handlebars together. The bolt is going to be loosened up from that bolts down the handlebars from the headset. And then when it screws it in to the frame, it's going to be taken out. The 2 nuts, they're not bolts, they're nuts. That holds the top part of handlebars in with the ball bearings. You're going to talk about the ball bearings and how they have to roll. And they can't be tightened up that tight or they won't roll. If they don't roll, they're ineffective. And they're going to have 2 ball bearings, one on the top and the bottom. One for the handlebars up top, another one for the fork down below in that part of the neck of the bike. Then we're going to take the front wheel off and take the axle out the front wheel. And we're going to show the ball bearings in the front wheel, as well as taking the seat off and the seat post, take it loose on the frame and take the seat off the post. Show how that's bolted down with them two bolts. Only in both sides, you have to turn them in equally. You got one turn, half a turn on one side. The right side is another half a turn on the other side, so it can be even when you tighten it up. So that's the trick to that. So we're gonna know about that trick, as well as going down to the bottom bracket. Take that loose. Take one pedal off. Might take both pedals off the crank. So we have the pedal of the crank. Then we have the ball back with the two ball bearings. And then this particular one's going to be, they call it a one-piece bottom bracket, but it's not really two pieces, but it's welded together. Because it's welded together, it says it represents one piece, but it's a two-piecer. But, yeah, that's what we're going to do. That do have reverse threads that we're going to talk about. You got the drive side. That's where the chain is at. That pedal normally is right turn. Then the non-drive side, that's where the chain is not at. That pedal is literally a reverse thread. Which means right is tight for the normal thread, and reverse thread is left is tight. So righty tighty, lefty loosey is just opposites. Lefty tighty, righty loosey for the reverse threads. And you got reverse threads down there with the bottom bracket where you adjust the ball bearings at. And then we'll take the kit stand off if we have one on there. Some of the little small bikes don't. But we're not bringing the kit stand with us and talk about how kit stands work. I was at an event this past Saturday with the city of Detroit. And I set myself up to be a vendor, but I didn't bring no bikes. I just brought myself. I didn't bring no bikes for demonstration. And I did talk to one person that was part of the event, and I let her know what I was doing. And she came back and asked me a question about her kit stand being loose because the bolt on it keep on coming loose. And she thinking about putting a bigger bolt on there. And I told her about the thread lock or thread glue that glues the threads down a little bit with the edge. Also, I told her she also can use fingernail polish. The fingernail polish has a hardener in there, and it has a brush to put on the thread. So it's a little bit more easy to work with the fingernail polish than it is with the thread lock. I got another one said thread glue, and it don't have no applicator for it. The thread lock, it's almost like dealing with eye drops. You have to put it on location. You have to turn the bike over to the side where the boat is at so it can run on both sides of the boat, or use a Q-tip as the applicator. So that's the difference between that. And I told her about that. But there's also another technique you use. You get longer bolt if necessary. If the bolt threads don't go all the way down so that you can put a nut on there with a washer. The lock washer, the one that don't have a washer, that's called a lock washer. This one has a slight opening in it. Seems like it's cut right there on one side. So one side be up and one side be down. And it helps to lock that bolt down on that, help to lock that nut down on that bolt. It helps to do that, but you still put the thread lock, or the thread glue, or the fingernail polish on the threads. That's inside threads as well as outside threads with the bolts. So you got two threads. The inside thread that the bolt threads into, that's only threaded into the frame part. Sometimes you do have a bolt that you can catch on to with it, or a nut. Then you got the thread itself on the bolt. So if you thread both of them in there, or be real heavy with the bolt, it's gonna thread in there. And what you want to do is create a gap with a bolt and a nut. It's a gap. Without that gap, you wouldn't be able to turn that bolt. So what this does, it fills in that gap. So it dries real hard, and then it works as a filler. The rust do the same thing. So why both get rusted on, because that's what you need the thread lock. That's what you need to. Sometimes the torch to get it off because you have to span the bolt or the nut so they can break it loose from that rust that it naturally goes back to being rust. And they also have a liquid application that you can apply to it also. That would loosen up bolts. That's got a little rust on it. So that's how you do that. I forgot what it's called. I had it on my mind, but it's not on my mind right now. But it's something that you spray onto the boat. And the nut is supposed to, or the closer you can to the threads. You see some threads, you want pretty close you can to the threads so it can loosen it up. And that's how you do that. So next time I'm going to bring me a boat with me, just so I can show people how a boat works with a nut on it. And if you can find me a lock washer, I'll bring that lock washer with me. I'm going to have some glue with me, threaded glue. Might even buy some clear fingernail polish. So anyway, that question came up. That was my suggestion to her to put the thread lock glue on it or thread lock on it and see if that works for her. But I was feeling down the bottom part where her not the pedal, but where her kickstand was at the bottom, see how much thread she had. And whether she can do it with putting two bolts together. If you put two bolts on there, sometimes two bolts are locking in too. And take the place of that washer, that lock washer. So there's more than one way of doing it. But that's a common practice. Them kickstands, when you just use them a lot, it move that boat. And we'll move the boat because you keep constantly using the kickstand, putting it in and out. And that gives it the movement it needs to loosen that boat up. And that came up as a question just by me bringing up the fact that I was going to show people how to do repairs on their bicycle. So it's kind of catching on. I got another invitation to have a meeting with someone that's going to have it at their event in September. So I also got a meeting that I might meet up with someone from the city that's going to see how it's working out for me with this pop-up learn your bicycle workshops that I'm doing. For the public for free, of course. I don't try to endeavor in these ventures to make any money. Just helping people out, because that's what stage I am in my life. Pushed up on 69 this year, so it's all about giving for the last 5 years. Not about always receiving, it's about giving. And that's my reward when I see somebody benefit from me giving. It was not always like this, and that is for sure. I was just the opposite. But I decided to flip the script towards the end of my life and do something completely different. Out of my character altogether. So that's what I'm looking forward to this month. This month being July. We can change some things up, have some more opportunities. You learn as you go because it's the first year of me doing it. I had talked about doing it back in 2021. When the community garden that I started with my neighbor, but we didn't get shipping containers that we can set up a classroom. So now I think going mobile with it is a lot more better. And besides, I'm not going to be the one that's going to constantly be there to be the instructor. My overall goal is real simple. To get a person started and show people how to follow a pattern. That's the whole key. I'm using AI now just to get understanding how things work. So on the practical side, that's your hands-on. But if you want the principle behind it, and the theory behind it, you can really go to AI. AI will give it to you now. And you got to click on understanding once you get your hands on it and see what you're talking about. AI can give you the principle behind it. Not the principle, but the theory behind it. Yeah, real good with that. Check that out. And AI chat is real good with that. With Google, they'll do them Google searches, then they summarize it for you. Then you can get the theory behind it. But the practical part, you put just your hands on. That's what I do, but right now I'm going to need some release forms, so I'm going to be doing the work. I just tell people to ask people what part goes next when I'm reassembling the bike. Or disassembling the bike, have a questionnaire with a little cheat sheet, the name of the part, but not a picture of the part. So I'm not going to do it completely easy, but it's not going to be hard. But I might say the ball bearings for the fork and the handlebars, and the ball bearings for the axle for the front wheel. Then the ball bearings for the bottom bracket, or the crank with the bottom bracket. So I'm going to have three sets of ball bearings per person to choose from, and matching up the seat with the post. I'm going to take that loose, and then have the, the nut for the seat, and have that separated. So it's about I'm going to take apart, and the person should be able to identify where it goes. But they're going to be using manufacturer terminology, and that's a learning curve. So they'll be able to do it by memory. I want people to do this by memory because I want them to be ready to go online with what they know. And that's where it gets some hands-on, and then hopefully somebody in that group, if I go out to a place that has a group of people like a mentor program, somebody in that mentor program will step up and say, okay, I can pass this information. I can learn and pass this on. I want somebody to be able to learn how to do repairs and also pass it on to others. So it's going to be all about teamwork. That way I don't, they don't have to be dependent on me. I just want to get it started and see what happens from there. And then we can network for the remaining of the time. We have set up a network. I like using Nestdoor for a network. It's pretty neutral, but we use Facebook also, or whatever social media site they want to use. Nothing personal with phone numbers and email address. But then we might do email address if we start a brand new one. I tell people if you're going to do email, I learned this from this security class I took up. And I did create a brand new email, but they had used our old email. And once you give them an email address, you got a lot of stuff on your old email that you use. I used some of it for banking. And if I had thought about that we was going to use, they set it up that we can that we can go on this program without telling us that we're going to use our email. I just thought I was going to use for them to communicate with them. I didn't know it was going to be used with this other company that can easily be hacked, because when you got a lot of people using this product, that's a target for a hacker. So I wish I had used a neutral email, like a brand new email that I could have set up so they could have used that one. So I learned that from that program that I took up. To sometimes when you want to do communications, we create a brand new email address that you can use, that you won't have no personal information on. Where if you get compromised, there won't be any personal information on it. And that's easy to set up with Gmail accounts. So that's what I'm going to suggest them do. We do get an email address. I'm going to ask them to create a brand new email address just so we can communicate. So that's my plan is to do this month in July. And then I'm also going to do it at the community garden for the end of the month celebration. We're going to give recognition to the people that helped create the community garden, so I'm going to do it there. But that's where the idea came from. The first idea came from to do with the public at large was be at that community garden. So that'll come full circle with that. Even though that's not going to be my principal location, I'd rather be in the park. It's a lot more neutral, and it's opened up to the public. And if not, I'm like being at whoever have a fair going on. A community fair going on, a community event. Block clubs and also going to be welcoming, homeowners association is going to be welcome. Gearing it toward people that ride bikes or towards your kids if they ride a bike. You can repair your kid's bike and save some money. And some people take pride in doing it and some people don't. It depends how things go. Especially with this economy might just change for us poor people. And we might go back to the way we used to do it. When I grew up, you kept your bike as long as possible, and sometimes you hand it down to your siblings. So it wasn't nothing it was a good thing to have a hand-me-down bike. You were looking forward to getting your big brother's bike or your friend's bike, a family member's bike. But now they mass-produce bikes so much, they have devalued the bicycle. Been completely devalued. So this is the way to show that you maximizing the use of the bicycle. You're learning something, and hopefully we can start a cooperation with each other like a fellowship. When we work together as a team, if you got a problem, you call me, and if I can't solve it, you call somebody else. And network like that so we can get the job done, because the main objective is saving people money by doing bicycle repairs. as well as people enjoy doing that kind of work, which I do. Those I'm doing minor repairs, nothing major, then this is definitely going to be for you. So look forward to that going down this month, July. End of July, we will give a report out. Probably be a couple of days after the end of July. I could go about 3 days after the end of the month before I come back with a podcast and report in. So with that, we'll say saw, which is bye-bye in the mini language.